Changing gears to our first local story. Today, Ron McLean and Tara Sloan are broadcasting from our city for Rogers hometown hockey. But as Jasmine King tells us, ahead of the weekend, a show was held at a local school to help kick off festivities.
Friday afternoon, Rendell Park School hosted the hometown hockey team. A competition was held to secure the show at the school.
There was a food drive to do, fill the net, to win Rogers Hometown coming to the school and doing some kind of a little bit of a comedy show with Paz the Entertainer. He's got a circus show, and we really didn't know what we were getting into.
After collecting close to 3,000 food items, students and staff were in the school spirit the whole week preparing for the hockey show. The staff was proud of the students' engagement in the food drive.
Every day we had the challenge of the kids bringing it in, and we started off, our K's and 1s were kind of the leaders here in the building, and they brought the most. They've won a sledding party along with the grade 3s for their contribution. 4, 5s, and 6s, they kind of pulled up their socks here in the end, and each class brought about 500 items. So.
Community members also stopped by the school to take questions from students and speak about their life experiences. Students also received a message from a current NHL player.
Ty Smith of the New Jersey Devils sent a little message. He's a former Rendell Park alumni, so he sent a little message for the kids, which was really awesome to celebrate. And we had Paint the Classroom Red, where the kids dressed in red. There was desks covered in red. Kids played O Canada on recorders. It was lots of fun.
The food items collected will be split between the Salvation Army and the Olive Tree. Jasmine King, Primetime Local News.
Members of the community gathered at the Lloyd X this weekend to celebrate the legacy of a local figure.
I can't even begin to tell you all the exciting things that have happened.
Mike Sidoric started his career with the Lloyd X as a part-time employee at the age of 12. In 1981, he took the next step, accepting a full-time position. But not even 10 years later, in 1989, he was granted the title of general manager. Former exhibition president Neil Johnson says that Sidoric showed promise at an early age.
He was always ready to dig in and help push and shove and do all the work that was required to get the equipment and things into place so we could put on whatever event was happening.
Through his 40-plus years with the exhibition, Sidoric has helped to fuel a variety of changes. Among most notable is a simple measurement of growth.
We're up to about 120,000 square feet of floor space now, compared to about 20,000 back in those days.
Since retiring in 2020, Sidoric has found comfort in caring for his cattle at home. He says that the slower pace to his new lifestyle is a welcome change, but still, part of his heart will always lie with the Lloyd X.
It's like farming. It gets in your blood, and it's very hard to get out. And it's an exhilarating industry. The people you meet, the people you work with, the board, all the staff, all the people I've met around the world, it's been worth it.
Now, with this week's edition of Retrospect, here's Blake Nath.
This week in Retrospect, not so clear on nuclear. Back in '92, local area residents debate the possibility of using the power of the atom to extract oil.
My first reaction is good because we're going to have a chance to look at perhaps nuclear energy as an alternate for the Lloydminster area.
Ed Edquist can see a lot of potential good from the can-do proposal. As president of the Lloydminster Chamber of Commerce, he envisions economic spin-off. As an engineer with a lengthy oil field background, he sees an opportunity for new technology.
From a research and technology point of view, if we're looking at can-do reactors, for example, in the heavy oil patch, if we have cheaper power, perhaps we can reduce the lifting costs of our heavy oil.
The Alberta Oil Sands Technology and Research Authority is studying the feasibility of using nuclear power in heavy oil extraction. A CANDU 3 reactor would help create steam, a critical component in the recovery of oil from sands or underground cavities. Harvey Dorr understands the intricacies of heavy oil production. He's area supervisor for Murphy Oil in Lloydminster, and he offered an explanation of the process.
Natural gas is fed into a steam boiler along with water, which creates steam which is injected down the wellbore into the oil zone. The steam heats up the oil zone and allows the oil and the water, which is condensed steam, to be produced back out of the well.
How then is nuclear energy going to fit into this process?
Well, as I understand it, the intent would be, rather than using natural gas to generate the steam, that they would use electricity produced by the nuclear process to generate that steam.
And at 97, local cafes catch on to the current craze. But is the trend here to stay?
Enjoying a cup of coffee has taken on a whole new meaning. Cappuccino Voltaire and Java Adventures are two local cafes that are moving with the times.
A new trend is sweeping through the border city. Not only can you enjoy a cup of gourmet coffee, but you can search the internet while you're doing it.
It is a very popular thing that is, catching on. And because there's so many people going on the internet, it's just another way of doing a socializing and, having a entertainment and good time.
It's very popular. I think on Saturday we're taking bookings in advance and drop-ins as well, as long as the computer is available. And I think there was probably not more than 1/2 hour on Saturday that didn't have someone there.
Cappuccino Voltaire opened its doors almost a year ago. So far, their internet terminal has been successful. Over 300 patrons signed up to use the internet in January alone.
It meets a need for people who can't afford a $4,500 computer at home. They don't need to. We've recently started offering internet classes.
The trend appears to be catching. If the internet continues to be successful, you may find more than just coffee and sandwiches at your local coffee shops.
And that's all for this week in retrospect.
Retrospect is brought to you by Webb's Machinery. Find New Holland products at Webb's Machinery, your dealer in Vermilion, Vegreville, Lamont, Wainwright, St. Paul, and Consulate.
Changing our tone a little bit here, it's time to check in with Shelby Clark for your first look at weather.
Thanks so much, Tate. Now taking a first look at your weather forecast here in the border city. We are seeing a beautiful day. We are sitting at 4 degrees right now, so hopefully everybody is getting out there and enjoying it. Go checking out Rogers Hometown Hockey there at Service later today, because it is beautiful outside. We are seeing a much sunnier day, and I know a lot of people are very happy to see that. We didn't get much snowfall from that warning yesterday, but there was some bad road conditions, of course, so hopefully everybody drove careful and everybody's safe and sound right now. But we are seeing a beautiful week now for here in the border city. Switching over to temperatures across the region for Alberta and Saskatchewan. On the Alberta side, we are seeing those single-digit points, but we are still seeing some beautiful temperatures. Most spots seeing around 4 and 6 degrees. 3 degrees in St. Paul, while it is 3 as well in Marwayne. Edmonton is kind of beating out all of us, seeing that 8-degree mark, and while down in Provost, they are seeing a warmer one at 6 degrees as well. Switching now over to our Saskatchewan side here, they are still seeing those single-digit temps, and they are seeing it as the same temps as we are seeing on the Alberta side. Most spots are seeing around 4 degrees. Down in Macklin, they are seeing a warmer day right now, sitting at that 8-degree mark. St. Walburg is slightly cooler, just hitting 1, while it is 5 degrees in Green Lake and Pearceland, and Meadow Lake is seeing that 4-degree mark there. And now switching over to North Battleford overnight, they will be going down to a low of -5, so they will be cooling down just slightly from that 4-degree mark with a lot more sunnier skies. Then tomorrow they will be seeing 1 degree throughout the day, and they will be seeing a mix of some sun and cloud. Cold Lake is going to be cooling down to a low of -10, so they will be cooling down a little bit slightly more, but they will be still seeing a nicer night, a couple clouds in sight. Then tomorrow they will be seeing a nice warmer day as well with that 5-degree mark, and they will be seeing a little bit more sun peeking behind those clouds. And for us in the border city, we'll be cooling down to -4, so we will be cooling down just slightly, but it's going to be a beautiful evening. So once again, get out there and enjoy the nice warm weather we'll be having throughout the evening and throughout the night. And then we will be seeing 4 degrees throughout the day tomorrow with a little bit more slightly cloudier skies compared to today. And now showing off one of your photo submissions. Thank you to everyone
that submitted great weather photos to our Facebook page. This one is from Vicky. It's a great photo there of a sunset. I love the colors in the sky, but if you continue to do so, you can submit a weather photo and I will use them in my weather segments. That's all I got for now. All right, Tate Laycraft will have more news coming up after the break.
The Lakeland College women's hockey team took on the Lethbridge Eagles in this past weekend's league championship. For a recap on the best of 5 series, let's check in with Jace Mackey and Evan Kenny.
Yes, it's true. Yet another Lakeland Rustlers team has won a league championship. This time it's the newest team, the women's hockey team. Now they won the Alberta Junior Female Hockey League Championship over the weekend. They beat Lethbridge 3-1. Joining me to talk a little bit more about this is our sports reporter, Evan Kenny. Evan, thanks for being here, and we'll just start with pretty broadly what a season it was for these Lakeland women's hockey team.
Yeah, Jay, seriously, what a season to really say the least. From the start of the year all the way, obviously, until the finish, the Rustlers really were not a team that you wanted to mess with. During the regular season, the team was able to go 19-4-1. And Jace, get this, they scored almost 4.5 goals per game. So an absolute offensive powerhouse in the Alberta Junior Female Hockey League. Now, in the playoffs, they just continued that success on. They only lost 1 game in the playoffs. That was game 1 of the championship series. Like you said, they were able to win against Lethbridge 3-1 in that series. So just an absolute fantastic way to kick off, Lakeland College women's hockey.
Now, as we mentioned, this is a new Wrestlers team. This was their first season, and safe to say they smashed all expectations.
Yeah, Jace, very, very, very safe to say that indeed. To start the year, the expectations for this team were really to develop the players and get a hang of, being a team, and then as well get some off-ice systems in place. And, see if Lloydminster as a community and Lakeland College could support a women's hockey team. Obviously the team recruited some quality players on and off the ice, and, they wanted to do well. But I don't think anybody really could have expected them to be a league championship team. And as well, just touching on the point to see if Lloydminster and Lakeland could support this team. Jace, I was at one of those championship series games, and it was an absolute packed crowd. So it's definitely safe to say Lloydminster can support this team, and their play on the ice, talks for itself.
Now, I think another underlying story when it comes to this team is their push to become a part of the ACAC. Now, with, as you mentioned, the packed house, all those crowds, and then on top of it, their on-ice success, it seems as though the ACAC will definitely be in their future.
Yeah, Jason, it's not for sure to say, and there's a lot of speculation still, but, this past season, the Rustlers obviously played in the AJFHL, and like I just said, this was to sort of prove multiple different points, prove the point that the community could support the team, prove the point that this team could play and produce on the ice. Lakeland did both of these things, and they did both of these things very, very well. As well, just talking about their play on the ice, Lakeland College was able to have 2 exhibition games against ACAC competition in the Olds Broncos, Olds College. Now, the Rustlers were able to split those 2 games as well, just showing that, they were able to keep up with that pace of play in the ACAC. They lost 4-3 in one game, and then were able to shut out the Broncos, winning 1-0 in the other game. So, there's plenty behind the scenes, obviously, Jace, that need to be taken into account from the ACAC, in discussions with Lakeland College. But from an on-ice perspective, and solely from an on-ice perspective, I truly believe the Rustlers can play at the collegiate level.
Well, it's such a great story overall, and we just want to say congratulations again to the Lakeland Rustlers female hockey team for winning that championship and making this whole region proud. Evan, thanks for taking some time today.
My pleasure, Jace.
Now we will once again toss to Shelby Clark for your second look at weather.
Now taking another look at your weather forecast, we'll be starting off with the central zone of the provinces here. On the Alberta side, we are seeing some warmer temperatures starting off this week, which I think everybody is really excited to see. We're saying 8 degrees in Edmonton and Athabasca, 7 in most spots on the map here, 9 in Rocky Mountain House, and Cold Lake is just seeing that 6-degree mark. Now switching over to our Saskatchewan side here, they are seeing those plus temperatures, but they are cooled down just slightly compared to the Alberta side for sure. 1 in Melfort, while it's 4 degrees in most spots in Saskatoon, North Battleford, and Meadow Lake with us here in the border city, and Prince Albert is just hitting 2. Now going over to our northern region now to see what they are sitting at. They are seeing some nice warm temperatures as well. We're definitely happy to see as we are heading into spring here, so I think we are going to be seeing some warmer temperatures for a while now. 0 in most spots on the map here, with 1 in La Ronge, 3 degrees in Buffalo Narrows and La Loche, Wollaston Lake is at -2, and Stony Rapids is seeing -1. Now switching over to the Alberta side here, they are seeing some warmer temperatures compared. They definitely are warming up quite a bit. 8 degrees in Grand Prairie, while Slave Lake and Fort Trufant both at 5. 6 degrees in Peace River, and Fort McMurray is just hitting that 7-degree mark, and high level slightly cooler compared to the rest, just seeing 2. Now going over to our southern region here, they are seeing some warmer temperatures as well. Most spots are even seeing those double-digit temps. Usually the southern region does see some warmer temperatures, of course, but Lethbridge and Calgary both at 11, 12 in Medicine Hat, while Banff and Coronation are at those single-digit points. Now switching over to our Saskatchewan side here, they are still seeing those plus temperatures, but they are cooled down quite a bit compared to the Alberta side. Yorkton is slightly cooler, just hitting 2 degrees, 5 in Regina, and the rest is seeing 7. And now going back across the region to see what we will expect throughout the evening and throughout the night tonight, we will be seeing some nice evening temperatures for sure. We aren't even reaching, we are getting a little bit close to -10 for our lows, but we are all seeing those single-digit temps that we will be expecting to see tonight. Provost will be seeing a low of -2, while Unity, Isle of Cross will be seeing a low of -5, as well as in Wainwright. A low of -7 that Paradise Hill and Meadow Lake will be expecting to see, and Murnum will be seeing a low of -8, and Pearson and Bonnyville will be seeing a low of -9. So we will be seeing some nice evening lows and not a high chance of some flurries coming up here. So I think it's going to be a nice night overall for sure. And now looking at temperatures throughout the night into tomorrow across the region, we will be seeing some nice warmer temperatures once again for our Tuesday, so it's going to be really good to see. Wainwright and Provost will be seeing the warmest on that Alberta side with that 10 and 11-degree mark, while on the Saskatchewan side they will be seeing some slightly cooler temps compared to the Alberta side, but overall most spots will be seeing between 4 to 6 degrees. And now ending off with our 3-day forecast for here in the border city, we will be seeing 4 degrees tomorrow with a mix of some sun and clouds. So we will be seeing this warm pattern continue on throughout the week, which will be great to see. Wednesday and Thursday, we'll see a mix of some sun and cloud with seeing that 3-degree mark on both those days. So make sure you get out there and enjoy this nice warm spring weather this week, and maybe take a trip to Bud Miller Park if you wanna. That's all I got for now. Our Tate Laycraft will have more news coming up after the break.
March is Fraud Prevention Month, and I'm joined here today with Tyler McMurchie from STI to talk a little bit more about some fraud cases that they've seen over the past year. So thank you so much, Tyler, for joining us here today.
Oh, always happy to join Primetime Local.
So with it being Fraud Prevention Month, what are some indicators that you guys look for when it comes to somebody trying to commit fraud?
Essentially, what our adjusters do is they listen to what the insurance claimant is saying, and if there's something that they think maybe doesn't add up, that's when they may ask our special investigation unit to look into it. In a couple of cases that we've highlighted for this year, there was evidence that the person gave that didn't quite match up or didn't quite reflect what we would have expected in that case. For example, a person who claimed that they had a very expensive vintage car stolen wasn't able to produce any proof that they actually owned the vehicle in question beyond a vehicle or a picture of the vehicle that was downloaded off the internet that we were able to discover. Neighbors hadn't recalled seeing that person owning that vehicle. The auto body shop that they allegedly took it to had no recollection of it, and this wasn't the kind of vehicle that you would easily forget. So this is one of those. That was one of those circumstances. Another one involved a person claiming that they had had a bunch of very expensive property stolen. One of the suspicious characteristics of that claim was that they had just taken out insurance a couple of weeks earlier. Also, the space that they were living in didn't seem to match up with the amount of possessions that they claimed to have had and had stolen.
And how many fraud insurance claims have you guys seen in the past year?
Well, the SIU investigated over 1,500 fraud cases over the course of the year, or they looked into potentially 1,500 cases. Not all were found to have had fraud in them. There was approximately 150 denied, and then another 300 had the claims withdrawn or subrogated in some way. So it really does represent, though, a substantial amount of savings when we're talking about $6 million in savings to SGI. And when we're talking about savings to SGI, it doesn't benefit the company, it benefits the customers of that company. So everybody who registers a vehicle with SGI or takes out a home or property insurance, commercial business insurance, farm insurance with SGI Canada, we all have an interest in making sure that insurance fraud doesn't happen, because the cost of insurance fraud means higher premiums for everyone.
And you guys have seen so many fraud cases this past year. So what are some interesting ones that you could tell us about?
Sure. One of the cases that we highlighted in our news release, we like to give fun little titles to each of these stories. We called this one "Running into an Old Friend," and so this involved a vehicle collision. Thousands of vehicle collisions happen every year in Saskatchewan, of course. This one involves somebody going through a stop sign and broadsiding another vehicle. Seems pretty straightforward, but one of the things that was discovered in the course of looking into this claim was that there was video evidence that was uncovered that determined that one of the vehicle that was hit, actually slowed down and allowed the other vehicle that ran the stop sign to actually accelerate and crash into that vehicle. And during the course of the investigation, not only was this video discovered, but it was determined that the two people involved in this collision actually were friends. So that was why we call it running into an old friend. And that's also why the insurance claim was denied and ultimately saved SGI and SGI customers $7,000.
Yes, I can imagine it might be quite difficult to find out if certain cases are in fact fraud or if they are real, just because of the amount of details that you would have to go through in order to find that out.
Yes, we've got a team of investigators, the Special Investigation Unit. Now, they've all got law enforcement backgrounds, and really, we like to think of them as truth finders. They're just as happy to find out that there is nothing suspicious about a claim and that the person is entitled to those insurance benefits. That's the best case scenario. Of course, we want insurance to be there for the people who need it, and when we can rule out that there's any dishonesty or potential fraud in a case, that's obviously great. Not only does it restore your faith in humanity, but it also makes sure that the people get the insurance benefits that they're emailed to. So but the work of the SIU is also very important in helping save customers money, as noted. Whenever a fraudulent insurance claim gets paid out, it costs all of us more.
Well, thank you so much, Tyler, for joining us here today.
Oh, no worries. You have a great day.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
Joining us today for Primetime Local News is a Canadian pop artist, Tamara Grace, and we are speaking on a new release called Autumn Tears that was released back in February. And we're here to speak on how strong that support has been and what's all involved in this. So thank you once again for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
No, of course. I'm glad we're able to have you on here. Now, let's start off with talking about what's all involved in this song.
Yeah, so basically how Autumn Tears came about, it's about a toxic relationship that I was in a couple of years back. And the relationship itself was like walking on eggshells. And I remember just going to the mall one day and seeing him for the first time. And, after our breakup, we hadn't seen each other or heard each other for a year. So just seeing him made lots of emotions resurface, like sadness, anger, confusion, and shock. So weeks later ish, when I went back home and I started playing this random tune that I found on my piano, which is now the song's tune, the first verse came about out of the blue. And so that's basically how the song began. And I got the pleasure to work on this song with Dominic Messier, who is known mostly to be Celine Dion's drummer. And I got the pleasure to work with him. And yeah, I'm really excited.
And have you been seeing some strong support so far since the release?
Oh, it's been insane. I have had so many people text me, friends and strangers telling me that, my song has helped them go through their breakups. So it has been such a great response so far. Yeah.
And is that the main message you're hoping that fans and listeners will get out of listening from the song to do with toxic breakups and relationships?
Yeah. So there are two messages actually. So the first one would kind of to be to love yourself and know your worth. And the second one is kind of like if you are someone who has went through a toxic relationship or currently is going through one, to just know your worth and know that you're better than that and just to get out of it. Yeah.
And I know you were saying earlier on you got to work with Celine Dion's drummer Dominic with this song and during this whole process. How was the experience working with him?
Oh, at first I was absolutely like nervous, but he is such a great guy and he made me comfortable from the get-go. And just seeing him work with speed, I'm just in complete awe. And so yeah.
Now, is there some future projects that you're working on that you can give us a little teaser on for all your fans watching this right now?
Yeah, well, I have a couple of songs that are going to be coming out soon, but one specifically will be, say, end of May, June. And I'm really excited about that. I'm so excited to finally tease it soon.
Perfect. Well, this is really great to hear for you, Tamara. Is there anything else you want to add?
Oh, I have a recent song that came out not too long ago called Bad Girl. And if you guys want to check that out as well, it's pretty exciting. It's my first upbeat song. So yeah, check that out.
Awesome. Well, once again, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Ending off with taking a quick look at your 7-day forecast. Here's a saying tomorrow we'll be seeing a nice beautiful day with that 4-degree mark, low of -4, with a mix of some sun and clouds. So get out there and enjoy it. And hopefully tonight people can go out and check out Rogers hometown hockey at the Service Sports Center. Wednesday and Thursday we'll see a mix of some sun and cloud, but again with that 3-degree mark continuing on both those days. So we will be seeing a beautiful week, so please make sure you'll take advantage. Friday will start off this weekend a lot warmer with 2 degrees on Friday with a little bit more sun peeking behind those clouds. Then Saturday we'll be seeing a high chance of some flurries with -1 on Saturday and Sunday. And then next week we will be starting off with a little bit more sunnier days on Monday with -1 as well to start off next Monday.
Thank you very much, Shelby. That right there, though, is all the time we have for this first hour. So if you missed anything, you can stick around and catch more news coming right up.